I have a problem with Destiny 2. I, unfortunately or fortunately, keep coming back to this game. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but there's a few things I want to bring up in this video, so let's talk about it. And there's also going to be gameplay of me failing the Witch Queen campaign as I try to catch up with my Hunter. So, I hope you enjoy. Let's talk. Now, I should probably bring up the first point anyways, which is about why do I keep coming back? Do I like this game? Do I actually hate this game? Well, let's talk about what the game is in the first place. It is a FPS MMO. Two of my favorite genres that could possibly be out there, honestly. And you put them together and you can get a really cool formula, which is what Destiny and Destiny 2 is. I never played Destiny 1 as much as I probably wanted to, but Destiny 2 I am able to play because it is a free-to-play game in the sense that anybody can try it out and potentially put money into it. Let's get more into that point, actually, now that I bring it up. Newer players are forced to make one to two decisions. This game, I wouldn't put it as a true free-to-play game, since you have to buy expansions to be able to play content that you do not have. There's the new free to try part right there. You come in as a new player, it immediately bombards you with constant telling you just to buy the expansion, which is really annoying as a new player because you just want to try it out. And also, not many new players necessarily have the money, since you to be able to play all of the content, you do have to spend $100. Or if you just want to play the current season and the campaign, it's going to be like $40 to $60, which most new players aren't going to be willing to spend. And that's one of my actually biggest problems with the game, but that's not entirely the point of this video. The point of this video is how I feel about it mostly. But I do hate the new free to try play part, but that doesn't affect me since I do put money into the game enough for me to actually enjoy the video game. I have spent a lot of money on this game over the last 4 years because I enjoy the game enough. But why do I hate this game or have a potentially hate for the game is honestly FOMO. FOMO is my least favorite thing in a video game sense. Destiny does it the worst. Almost the worst, pretty much. I could probably think of one, but not at the top of my head. It's going to be Destiny since it's the topic of this video. And what FOMO is fear of missing out. And what that means in Destiny sense is there's seasons during the campaign. So let's say Beyond Light, you had 3-4 seasons. And every one of those seasons, every 3 months that it changes out, you completely miss out the previous season's campaign or storytelling because you didn't own it at that point. You miss out the activities. You could buy the season pass, which gives you everything, but why buy the season pass when you want more current? It is also kind of hard to be current, especially with the story, because you do have to swap out every 3 months, potentially spending $20 or that $100 initial dollars just to play everything. That hurts. It's a pain. You can also make the joke of haha, just get a job and pay $100. It's not that hard, but $100 is a lot, and you could put $100 into a AAA game, even though AAA games are a good thing right now because of what's going on and companies, blah blah blah. It just hurts, honestly. My actually main point on why I actually really like this game is you have 3 sets of classes with subclasses. You got the Warlock, Hunter, and Titan. They all play differently. Their subclasses play differently. They're kind of similar in some ways. Like Titan has the Ward of Dawn, I think that's what it's called, the bubble for Titan, which is, but it's really similar to Well, but they act different. Well, it's just better. And Titan's bubble sucks. That's the difference. Since they both give you armor and damage boost, it's just Well's better because Well's better. But that's the fun, that's the beauty. You can also make builds around these subclasses that you want to try out. You could play PvP, you can play PvE, and there's hundreds of builds that you can try out there because there's many stats that you can put into many, like hundreds. You can get triple hundreds and resilience, recovery, discipline, just cause. Even though recovery is bad, resilience good right now. Discipline is kind of a meme, sort of. It's, depends. Grenade builds are pretty cool, honestly, if you can do that. Yeah, that's honestly my favorite thing. And the movement, the gameplay, the gunplay, the storytelling, even though it is lackluster, it is pretty fun. The storytelling has gotten lackluster in the last year, especially with Lightfall. Hopefully the final shape. I don't know. I should say I don't know. I haven't been caught up since the beginning of Lightfall because I played that season a lot. Stopped playing up until recently because of Into the Light. And I don't know if the final shape is finally going to give us some conclusions to some of the answers the Lightfall is. I hope. Let's talk about the storytelling part of the video game. The beginning of it, the Red War, it was just an intro to Destiny 2. Even though, as far as I am aware and remembered what I read, it was bare bones compared to Destiny 1 because they didn't add as many things as Destiny 1 had at the time. And they completely changed everything and removed a lot of things. Then there comes Forsaken. Great. First part of the storytelling is awesome because they had to make a change. They had to make a huge change in order to keep the game alive, and Forsaken was everything they could do to it, which is awesome for them. Phenomenal storytelling, and they also added a lot of back to what should have been Destiny in the first place. It was just basically a massive slice of life addition to the game, which made the game better. Let's go to Shadowkeep. It added more and also became free to play, came to Steam as a free to play game, which is when I started playing, but even then it was still pretty bare bones, even though I enjoyed it. I'm biased, so I have to say Shadowkeep is my favorite expansion out of all of them, even though Witch Queen's better. Shadowkeep was cool. Not much to really be said there. Pyramids came, more story stuff. Story slowly adding up, being more sinister than it should have been, or is going to get. And it just starts ramping up with how dark is dark and light is light. Basically, the story between dark and light starts right there, honestly. Because the Pyramids is all about dark. Beyond Light, the first campaign to bring out a new type of subclass. Now, very controversial because at the beginning of it, you got, especially in PvP, you got hunters shadow diving people and just destroying. It was hard to play at the beginning of Beyond Light. I didn't play them because I didn't want to play with the overpowered classes, but I did play after they all got nerfed and got to where they're supposed to be at. I enjoyed Beyond Light because it added a new flair of powers, even though not much changed, honestly. Then I think it was Witch Queen that came after. There was no new powers, but the story was actually really well told. And the first time you get legendary campaign, which you get more loot and better loot in the end, like exotic, I think you can get exclusive exotic and maybe a banner because of that. That's pretty cool. I like that. And they also added crafting. That's, even though the red borders at first was a pain just to grind in the first place because red borders weren't common and you have to, no, it was that red borders that you had to level up, I think, in order to get the deep sight resonance, which they changed into, so you have to get 5 patterns in order to unlock it. That's fine. I like the crafting. Witch Queen is cool. Love it. And I believe Lightfall, which is where we are at now, the Witness comes in and we get way too many questions, even though there's a cool new power called Strand. Grappling is awesome, and Strand is very viable in a bunch of builds. I mean, I'm not saying that the other Darkness Stasis power is not viable. It's just I think Strand is better in most cases. This is me personally, unless you're a skater on Hunter. Even though Stasis and Strand both have their cases, but whatever. That's a different topic that I'm not going to get into. But Lightfall pretty cool, except for story bad. It just complete lackluster, and that's another thing that I hope to get into next season. Actually, is my hope with returning now is so I can prepare myself to be hopefully in a good position for when the next expansion comes out, which is in June. And I hope that it's just better than in story and brings a bunch of cool stuff. All I know is that Prismatic looks awesome and that I'm excited for that. One of the reasons why I actually came back is to, like I said, prepare for that, so I know what to expect. Now, that comes to the end of that small, just to keep you up to date, just bring you up to date with what expansion stuff came out. I'm not going to get into the middle of it because there's a lot of seasons and stuff that I just don't know. I didn't really pay attention to most of that besides, I don't know, Shadow of the Witch, which is last season. That's only what I remember because that's the only thing I could bring up in mind. But so far the storytelling is all over the place. It's either really good or mediocre or very, very, very lackluster, like Witch Queen being good, Lightfall being bad. And I really hope that Bungie does a good job with the next expansion. That's the one thing I hope, and that's I think I said this. I'll say like a 4th time in a row. I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. This video is mostly a rant video about Destiny anyways, and I just want to get stuff off my chest just about the game. But one of the reasons why I did come back is to get the weapons that I don't have for Into the Light, or not Into the Light, whatever the next one's called. Not at the top of my head, but I do want the weapons from Into the Light, and that's why I'm right now. And I really hope next season's good. That will probably keep me playing for a while, just theory crafting and build crafting and learning how to actually play the game a little bit better than what I do now. Story is all over the place. Gameplay, it's still really good gameplay since you can do whatever type of build you want. Because, I mean, it's not even it's just there's so much you can do with builds, and it's variety. That's what I like about Destiny, is the variety. You get guns, they all do different things, even though there are meta guns and meta roles that you can roll for, which I don't care. I like farming games, and it's also another reason why I like Destiny too. And now let's come to, I guess, the last point, even though that last bit was just a rant about nothing meaningless really. But last bit I want to say is, why is it a problem? I'm a variety gamer. I like playing a variety of type of games, and it's kind of hard to play different games when I'm just stuck in Destiny. That's why it becomes a problem. I just want to play Destiny so I can keep catching up and preparing for nothing, it seems. Even though I mean, in the end, I do enjoy the game, and that's why I do keep coming back, and I just expect the game to be good, because it could potentially be one of my favorite games if it didn't have the flaws it did. But enough ranting. I think you've heard enough. There's not much really here to say. It's just a rant anyways. But with that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me rant about that. And I bid you adieu. Good luck. Have fun.